Hi everyone, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm going to do another Facebook Live. I've been trying to increase the numbers of Facebook Lives I do. I get away from them for a while and then I think, oh, I should do those because everybody enjoys watching someone get creative, and then sometimes those people are inspired to do some things themselves, whether they copy what you do, case it as we call it, you know, or do their own thing and share it. It's always fun. So, hey, hi Mary, thanks for joining me tonight. I'll wait for just a minute while people jump on, those that are free and choose to jump on. I was going to do a Facebook Live last night because, like I said, I'm trying to get back to doing these a little more frequently. Hi Chris and hi Nancy. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate you guys hopping on. I was going to do one last night, and for once I remembered to post about it a day early and then remind people. But then I had my battery die on me yesterday in my car. And Rod gave me a jump, and then I drove it on the highway for a bit to try to charge it up and went to work because I had a time deadline. I had to be at an important meeting for work, and he said, maybe you should go get the battery changed. Hi Kathy. And I said, I will, but I've got to get to this meeting right now. He said, okay, but it may not work for you when you leave, so give me a call if it's not working. And that's what happened. He came and jumped it. We drove over to the place and got the battery changed, and so all is fine today. But that meant I didn't really have time, and I was a bit hectic to try to go live last night. So thank you for understanding that I needed to push it to tonight. And thanks for joining me tonight. Those of you that are here, I appreciate it. And those that will watch this in a replay, I appreciate you as well. So remember to hit the like and the share button if you would, please. I super appreciate that. It helps me to try to reach more people. And I love what I do. And if I share what I do and other people love it, then hopefully I can keep doing this for a good long time. We had our Stampin' Up leadership event this past weekend, I should say. It was Thursday evening and then Friday and Saturday. And this year was the first year I was able to attend that. Thanks completely to you guys, my wonderful customers, and you guys, my wonderful team members. Because of you guys, I achieved a level in Stampin' Up, a title that got me into the leadership group, and so I was able to attend that, and I super appreciate you guys' support in helping me get there. So, well, hi Kathy, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. So I did that last weekend, so there was no Facebook Live then, but then I went live one of the nights after the event, and then I thought this week I'm going to make myself go live again, and I'm going to try to get on a regular schedule of doing this because it is fun. I know I watch other people do their YouTubes and Facebook Lives, and I enjoy it, so I think you guys do too. So tonight's card is a pretty simple card, but it does involve stamping and die cutting and heat embossing, things that we all enjoy very much doing. So I wanted to share that with you. And I will turn the camera down, but before we do that, let me pull up on my computer over here. We got new computers at work this week, and so right now I didn't realize that my home printer is not hooked up to this. I was going to print off some of my upcoming events real quickly. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but I wanted to print it out. I was going to set it on the table and show it with my camera, but I need to get that set up. So this new computer is great. I just got to get it going better. The first thing I want to mention is that the Stampin' Up Bingo event that I have, that is September 17th, and we will play bingo on Zoom and have lots of wonderful prizes to win. We play 6 games of bingo. We'll have the make and takes. We'll have at least 3, I'm thinking 4 projects to do. We get an included stamp set with your registration fee. You will get the wonderful stamp set called Little Delights, which has birthday and Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas, so it's a multi-holiday or multi-event stamp set. We're going to use that on our projects, and you get that free mailed to you or delivered to you, or you pick up from me. Whichever way you get it, you will get that stamp set along with the supplies to make the projects, your bingo cards, pillow gift from me, M&Ms or Smarties depending on what the temperature is going to be like, and if I can dare send out chocolate without worry about it melting, all that kind of stuff, plus the fun event on Facebook Live, or I'm sorry, on Zoom. We'll start at 7 and it'll go till probably 9:30 or 10, so a really fun evening, and I hope you can join me. I've had a nice number of people already register, but I need people, especially people who live out of town, to please get registered and signed up tomorrow by midnight, because I really have to get those orders in to Stampin' Up so that your stamp sets get sent to me in time, so that I can in turn get them to you in time. So that's pretty crucial this time. If you live local to me, you know, there might be a day or two in there that we can fudge with, and or a couple days maybe, but I really don't want to cut it so close that we're worried about it not arriving in time. So please get your registration in right away if you are going to do that with us. So I hope you do. It'll be a fun time. This time, one of the grand prizes I'm going to give away is the mini Stamp and Emboss cut machine, and I'm going to actually use that tonight on our cards, so you'll get to see it. But it's a wonderful little machine that goes so well on your tabletop. You can use it for embossing and die cutting, and I'll show you. The other thing I wanted to remind people, so reach out to me if you want to have the registration link to sign up for bingo, or if you've been on the fence and been thinking about it, remember that I need you to let me know right away so I can get your stuff ordered. I would hate to have you not be able to participate just because we didn't get you a stamp set ordered in time. The next thing is my all-day craft retreat for October is going to be October 9th. It's at the Bethel Baptist Church like we usually have it at. That's the same place. That's Grayson's church, our good friend Grayson. And Grayson may not be able to join us this time. She has her first grandbaby coming that first week or so in October. But she has already secured our ability to use the church even if she's not with us. So we will carry on and have our all-day craft retreat. The exciting piece of that, I want you to know, we're going to use the Penguin Suite. It's called Penguin Place, I believe. Yes, Penguin Place. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my handout over here. That one has been so popular, and it is so adorable and cute. If you have the Celebration catalog, the DSP that goes with it is in here, and the suite itself, the Penguin Place, is in our holiday, or what we call the June to January mini catalog. It's in here, and so look up penguins in there and you'll see what that retreat is going to be about. Of course, when you come to my retreats, you don't have to do any of the projects that we have on display, but I'll have wonderful projects on display. You'll get goodie bags that have all the things in them that you need to do those projects, plus lots more. You'll get that all with your registration fee. I serve you a yummy hot lunch. We have some snacks. You have 12 full hours of crafting if you choose to stay from 9 to 9. It's an easy place to access. It's one level walk in, carry your stuff, sit down. We have a great time. A lot of you on here have been to that event, and I'm sure you can speak to the fact that we have a good time during it. So, oh, and I give away door prizes too. So anyway, enough about that, but I wanted you to know that upcoming date. And the registration for that I will post later this week. But right now we were focusing on the registration for bingo, so I didn't want to confuse things with having two registrations out here right now, muddying up the water. And then the last thing I wanted to mention real quickly is that Saturday, October 2nd is International Card Making Day, and I'm going to have an event for that. I'm hoping, depending on how COVID-19 is in our community, I would like to have people come to my place and get to make a couple cards and have some refreshments and just gather together. And I'm hoping to do that free of charge for people, just to say, come and have fun with me and let's get creative on card making day. So Of course, I'll take orders for anybody who wishes to place them, but the main thing will just be coming together and having a good time. But we do have to keep an eye on where the dial is and how things are, so that I don't want to be responsible for anybody getting sick at one of my events. So anyway, thanks. Enough of that. We will get back to my project. So let me turn the camera down. As I always say, close your eyes if this, well, I don't know if I always say this, but close your eyes if you get seasick, because I'm going to turn this. First I have to take it off that way and turn it down and get it in my holder so you guys can watch. You don't want to look at my tummy, so hopefully that is going to work. There we go. Let's see. There's my hands. Thanks for bearing with me. Oh, let me check on my computer over here and make sure that what you guys are seeing shows enough of it so that you can follow along with me as I create this. Wow. I need to get it a little bit higher so that you get more of the view instead of too close up. Okay. Sorry, that's going to joggle around just a little bit more, and then hopefully we'll be in a good spot for what's going to happen here. So, okay. While we're doing that, hold on. Oh, I'm sorry, Nancy, you worked the weekend of the 2nd. And of course, I would change that date, but that is the date of the International Card Making Day. So I just thought I would do something quick and easy for that. Shoot. I'm sorry. Darn it. They should make International Card Making Day on a day you don't have to work. But Nancy's an important person at the Community Bryan Medical Center, and so, I mean, we're all happy she works there and is doing what she can to help people, but darn, I hate to have you miss something. Okay. Anyway, back to this. I wanted to show you. Sometimes I already start with a prepared card base for you guys, and tonight I thought, well, maybe I better step it back just a second for those who aren't used to cutting their own card bases. Like if you come to my card classes, usually I've got things all cut and prepped and prepared for you. If you come to my retreats, you get kind of this aspect of things. You get the goodie bag, but you do some of your own cutting. But here I'll show you real quick our cardstock. I'm using thick whisper white for the card base, and it comes 8.5 by 11 inches, and I'm going to score this. Gosh, I hope I'm still, why is, oh, there. It looked like I was frozen over there. I have gone and scored this at 4 1/4, because that is, usually our cards are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's a common size. Now, occasionally we do fun folds and different things, and then I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2. And I do have my Stampin' Up trimmer over there, and I can't believe I grabbed this one first because it was handy, but normally I use that. And if your trimmer doesn't have a score blade on it, you can get a score pal or score. What do we call this? Score something. I don't know. I can't think of it. And it comes with a stylus, and it's got the nice measurement, so you can score on this too. I especially use this if I'm doing 3D projects or multiple items, because this is so fast and easy, and the stylus gets a really good embossed mark for folding and burnishing. But you can also use your trimmer if your trimmer has a score blade on it, which means not a cutting blade, but just to score. So so now it is 8.5 by 5 1/2, and as I said, I scored it at 4 1/4. And I'm going to take my bone folder and burnish my fold here so that it stays nice and flat. Okay. As I said, this is Thick Whisper White. We have regular basic white, which is perfect for stamping and die cutting, but when you're making a card, you want this part to not be quite as flimsy. So the Thick Whisper White or Thick Basic White is a good choice. If you're making a colored cardstock or colored card, meaning the base is colored, our colored cardstock is very thick, and so it's perfectly fine the way it is. But when you're going with the white, we have the two thicknesses. So when it's the base, you want it to be thick with thick basic white. So I'm going to set this aside for a minute. I've done some of the die cutting ahead of time, but not all of it, because I wanted you to see how some of it is. I've used the Scallop Contours dies. I've showed this before. It's one of my very most favorite die sets, along with So Sentimental. I use this a ton. I've got washi tape here because I often use washi tape to secure my die when I'm putting it through my machine so it doesn't slide or move on me. But on this card I'm making tonight, I have used, there's all these wonderful scalloped rectangles in this set, plus this beautiful scallop border, plus a couple flower dies that go with this set. But on this card I've used the largest scallop border. It's scalloped, and then it also has these perforated holes in it, which just adds to the look. So I'll show you that. I've already die cut that for us. And here it is. Here, let me put this down. This might make things a little bit easier to follow instead of that difficult background there. Let's see if this will help show things off better. Okay. This might make it easier to see against this background. So here's the scallop that I did, and this is from the Pansy Petals paper. It pains me to use this sheet because these pansies are perfectly sized to die cut out with the pansy dies. So if you have the pansy dies, this 12 by 12 sheet of paper, you get 2 of these in the pack. You can cut these out. You don't even have to stamp them. You can just cut these pansies out. They're beautiful. But I'm using this print, so I've done that. I'm also using this print from the pansy paper. Then I've used a piece of Pale Papaya cardstock, which is one of our new in colors. I've got some scrap white that I stamped on, I tell you about. I have a long strip of this same DSP to go on the inside of my card. I've got some of our new Evening Evergreen cardstock, just a very small piece. As you can see, I don't need a lot of that. And I need some basic white, and I will show you why I need that. Why don't I show you the card I'm making so that you can get a feel for what's happening here. I started out, last week, you guys know I was using these Tailor Tag Dies. I did a gift bag with it and showed. And I continued on with that and made some cards with it. And so this is a card I made last week. And it's in the portrait landscape, portrait orientation, like so. And I've got some Calypso Coral, and I don't know if you can see, I'll bring it up closer, but I have done some dry embossing on this piece. If I get it just right, maybe it will show up. But there's some texture here because of the embossing. No, it doesn't look like it's showing up very well on here. But anyway, that's embossed, and then I've done the tags. This I have stamped on, and then if I get it just right, you can see there's a glimmer to it too. This is heat embossed. You can feel it, you can see it, and so that's our heat embossing tonight, and then I've got that there. So, okay. But then after I did that orientation, I wanted to do a landscape orientation. And so this one goes in this direction, like so. I've done pretty much the same thing though. The layer with the scalloped DSP, the tags, the heat embossing and the stamping, and then some ribbon trim there. So that's what I'm doing tonight. And I think I'm going to do it in this orientation again. Although I do like this, I think I'm going to stick with this again. Okay? Alright, so, as I said, if I was going to do it in this orientation, portrait, I use the same measurement of base. It's just instead of turning it this way, I've got it this way. So this measurement of the base works for, you know, both, obviously. Okay, back to this. So I'll set this here, so I don't know if it'll show up in the picture, but that's what we're working on. As I said, I've already die cut this. It's from the Pansy Petals, so I can go ahead and adhere this. There's no ribbon or anything around this that prevents me from going ahead and getting it down on my paper or on my card. And, whoops, wait a minute. What am I doing? I need my card base. That's my stamping piece. I'm going to move that. Both white and both got me. Almost used the wrong one. There we go. And then, let me show you the dies. So in this die set, called the Tailor Made Tags Dies, it comes with there we go, dies that have kind of a decorative top and a more traditional top to these. That one. So graduated sizes in that one, and then in this one. Okay. We're going to use these tonight, but you could just as easily use these. And there is one more size in these, but we're using these. Along with those, I showed this last time, there's this die that cuts out these little eyelet circle things that go around the hole. And then there's this one. And this goes with this style. So we're going to use this tonight. Okay? Alright. As I said, I've already cut out a couple just to make things move along quicker. But what I haven't cut out is the white one yet, which I'll be stamping on. And I haven't cut out the Evening Evergreen, the little eyelet hole protectors. So I'm going to cut those out, and I'm going to show you that mini emboss and cut machine. It is like our big machine, but just mini, as the name implies, and so it's kind of cute. I like it. I'm not sure if it'll all get in the camera for you, but it looks like this. It's got the little crank, and it comes complete with the cutting plates and base, and also there's some other plates for using if you are embossing instead of die cutting. So let's get the little taggy things going, the hole protectors. I don't know a technical name for them other than that, hole protectors. If you know a better name for them, write it in the comments, because I don't know a better name for it. But anyway, this one cuts 3 out at one time. See, you can tell there's 3 holes there. I'll move this out of the way, and then you get 1, which is perfect because we are using 3 tags. The die that cuts out the other shape actually cuts out 4 at once. I don't know why this one cuts 3 at once and the other one does 4. Who knows? Must be the size of them. And then I want to do a white piece for the white tag that we are going to stamp and emboss on. So let me get a white piece. Normally, I would stamp first and then die cut, but I'm going to break that rule tonight because when I've been making these, I've actually been doing it the other way around, and it's been working out fine. So I do use washi tape, as I said, sometimes to hold a die down. I don't know if it's essential, especially if you have a magnetic plate, you maybe don't need it, but I like to use it. I don't like to risk anything moving on me. Isn't that just cute? Look how that just runs through. I just love this thing. It is adorable. I told myself when they first came out, I told myself, I do not need one of those. I already have 2 regular sized die cutting machines. Why would I need the little one? But guess what? I got it anyway, and I really like it. It just sits here, so handy. But I will move it out of the way right now while we do our next step, okay? So now we have our 3 tags, but we still need to adhere our eyelet protector things and do some stamping. Now, you might say, why is she putting 3 on all 3 tags? Because the bottom ones are hidden. This is true. I could probably skip that part and just put it on the top one, but I'm going to go ahead and put them on all. It cuts out 3 when I did it, and I've got 3, and I don't know, just seems like I should go ahead and do that. I'm going to get out my silicone mat. Whenever I'm using Tombow, or any adhesive for that matter, the silicone mat can be handy. Things don't stick to it. If you've used silicone, you know that. Things wipe off of it pretty easily. So I'm going to use that. Plus, if you're stamping with photopolymer stamps, it gives a little bit of cushion and you can get a good impression with your stamps. Or you can use one of our Stampin' Pierce mats under it too, and that will help. I say this every time, I think. You guys know that I like to use my tweezers for fine placement of fine items. That's just a personal preference. We don't sell tweezers in Stampin' Up, but that doesn't mean I don't use them, because I sure do. Okay, let me set that aside. Get this one. Oops, look, it stuck to me. Don't you love that color, Evening Evergreen? It is so pretty. I can see I'll be using the heck out of that color come winter season for Christmas cards and even just nature winter cards. There we go. Because that color is perfect. Okay, let me see if there's any questions real quick. Okay, yeah, I don't see anything, but if you've got a question, let me know later. I'll go back and read everything in the comments afterwards. So if I miss it now, oh, should I give you a quick sneak peek and then I'll go on with stamping? This is one of the cards we're going to make at Bingo. I just created this one last night using our new set and with some beautiful colors that I like very much. So there, that was a quick sneak peek for you. This is an alternative card that I made. We won't do this in the class, we'll do the one I just showed you, but here's an alternative that's got a similar design. Okay, back to this card. We've got those 2 tags ready. You could emboss this card, this tag, with embossing folder to give it texture. I didn't, but that's certainly something you could do. And we're ready to do this one. I'm going to first stamp these little, I don't even know what you would call them. They're like plus signs or multiplication signs. If I get it close enough, maybe you can see. I'm going to stamp those randomly, and I believe I used Mango Melody on that. So let me grab that color. Or not Mango Melody, Pale Papaya. And the stamp I used with that comes from the, let me move this, the same set that has the word friend in it. This is called Biggest Wish, and I showed you guys this last time. I really love this set. I love the big words and then the cursive words for a cool accent, and this little plus or multiplication sign background stamp is in there, and that's what I'm using. So it's a great set. I like that set very much. Highly recommend it. Okay, now where did I put that little stamp? right over here. It's a little baby stamp. And I'm just going to do it kind of randomly. And when you do some random stamping, it's important to kind of turn the stamp so that it doesn't look intentional and like lined up in a particular way. And make sure that you go off the tag in some places. So there. And it's hard to know when enough is enough. Sometimes I go crazy and I do too much, and then I think, whoa, wait, rein that in, Penny. Stop there. You're getting too much going. So there we go. Now is the part that I need to show you the tricks for. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way. So we've got the background going. I have taken out the word friend from here because I'm just going to put friend, and then I'm going to have a little itty bitty hello. So I'm using my Stamparatus. If you don't have a Stamparatus or some stamp positioning device, this might be a little bit trickier for you. I'm going to try to move this so that you can see it all in the camera. Let's see if it looks like I'm in camera. Okay, good. Because I'm going to stamp it in color, and then right on top of that I'm going to stamp it with VersaMark, use heat embossing powder, and heat it. So having the stamp positioning tool is kind of necessary to achieve all of that. So, okay, first I'm going to prep my tag with a little bit of powder so that my embossing stuff, well, no, first let's stamp it, and then now I'm going to do it. We no longer sell these embossing buddies, but many people already own them, and if you don't own them, you can find those elsewhere. But they're just an anti-static tool to keep the powder from sticking where you don't want the embossing powder, if that makes any sense. We have oils on our hands, lotions, things like that. Whenever we handle paper, it gets on there even though we don't see it, and then the very, very fine embossing powder can stick to it. And then when you heat it, it shows up, and we don't want that. So use a little bit of the embossing powder on it first. There. So I have, and then you'll have a better job embossing. So I have positioned this, I have my magnets holding my tag down. Then I have taken my photopolymer stamp and laid it on there just about where I want it. I can see if I'm, you know, off one side or the other, angled, tilted, wet. That's the wonderful part about photopolymer. They are my favorite kind. That's why my team is called Polymer Princess Team. So then once I've got that positioned, if I close this lid up, it's going to pick up that stamp and stick right there. So now I can ink it up. I'm using Pear PIzzazz, which is a light green, but when I add that embossing powder on it, it makes it darker. I tried it first with the Evening Evergreen, which is that dark green that I showed you here. It was really pretty, but it was a bit too stark. So I went for a lighter shade, even though the tag here has that same color in it. And I used, tried it with Soft Succulent also, which is one of our new colors. And that was pretty, but not quite what I wanted. But you can, depending on what paper you use, you might have other colors schemes that you will put together. I think I might need to re-ink my ink pad. It's looking a little bit dry. There, we're getting a little bit more last time. This is the great part about having the stamp positioning tool, the Stamparatus, is I can keep going over it and over it until I get it just as dark as I want. I think when we're done tonight, I'm going to re-ink this. Or I can do it on camera if there are any people here that have never seen how to re-ink their ink pads. I can show you if you remind me in case I forget. Okay. Now, as I said, I need to heat emboss it, so I'm going to real quickly dry up, take the green off of here, clean it, dab it just a bit to get the moisture off. And then you use a VersaMark ink pad. And VersaMark is a clear, sticky substance ink pad. It's called a watermark stamp pad. You can't see it on here, but I can see that it looks kind of wet and maybe even like slimy or sticky. Push that down. And I can look off the side and I can see if this now has a sheen on the top of it from this. And it does. I'm doing it one more time. Put my VersaMark away. And then I have, in a container, I keep my clear embossing powder. Let me move this out of the way now. And I keep a little spoon in it. And you do not want to touch this right now. It's got that VersaMark on there. That VersaMark doesn't dry too fast. So you've got a minute or so, you know, to do this. And I just take it and I sprinkle the powder on it a couple times. And it will cling to that VersaMark. And then when I heat it up with my heat tool, that will kind of melt that powder and give it the heat embossed feeling. If I was using a color and I could see any remnants, I would take this little small paintbrush that I have and kind of brush it off around there, being careful not to touch on here. Okay, now let me get my heat tool. And this is a small tag, so I'm going to use my tweezers to hold it. If it's a big card, you know, you don't have to worry so much, but this is pretty small, and this heat would burn my fingers if I get too close too long. I start on the back, and then I turn it around. And I chase the change. That means I put it in one spot and I watch for the change in color as that melts, and then I move it forward. And then I look at it and see if there's any places that don't look melted. Looks good to me, so it's done. I've heard of people trying to achieve this with a hair dryer, a blow dryer or something. It doesn't work. You need a heat embossing tool. They're a little bit on the pricey side, but I'm going to tell you there's nothing like the effect you get from heat embossing on a card, or even like scrap a page or invitations or 3D project. There's only a small amount on here, but you can do some really amazing things with heat embossing on a larger scale. And so that heat embossing tool, while it's a little bit of an investment initially, it's pretty cool when you use it on so many things. It's got a wow factor. I use that word a lot, but you know, when people get it, they're like, ooh, and they automatically want to feel it and touch it, because it just, that's what it does. That's what it does. It makes you want to do that. Okay, good. So we've got that heat emboss. Let me see if I hold it up here. If there wasn't so much delay on my computer, I might be able to tell, but you know, there is, so I won't be able to see very well if you can see that. But if you get it the light just right, you can see it's all shiny and smooth now, and that's where the embossing has been done. Oh, it looks like I'm too high. There, come down this way. So, oh, well, enough of that. All right, let's go to this. Now let's put our tags together so I can put the ribbon through. And it occurs to me that, did I put that ribbon away in here? I think I did. I think I put it away in here. I had a couple rolls of it because I like this so much. This is from the Flowers for Every Season combo pack. And it's like a linen, a really soft, beautiful linen ribbon. But if you didn't have this, a lot of people have this seam binding ribbon that we sell. That would work too. It's just a lot thinner and more frilly. Or we have this coordinating ribbon. This is the Evening Evergreen, which would go very well with us. Hey, maybe I should try this. Just to be different. Yeah, why don't I do it? Let's see what we think about it. I hadn't thought about using this one, but let's see if we like the look. I'll put it through here and we'll hold it next to the card, and you guys can vote and tell me if we like this or if we want to stick with that white linen. Now I am going through 3 tags at once, and I'm trying to keep them all together. There we go. I'm not sure if I like that. I think I don't. I think I'm going, maybe if I had used Evening Evergreen here, then maybe I would like it. In fact, I think if I had it to do over, that's what I would do. So that this one has got the white linen. This one I would use this, but I would make sure I use the tag that has Evening Evergreen. So we'll go with the white linen on this one though. Okay, let me trim this down. Ribbon scissors, come here. There we go. I always put the loop through first. That's how I do it, so that then I bring the tails. Oh no, I missed one of them. Look at that. How did he not get in there? Sneaky guy. Let's try it again and see if I can get through all 3. There, I achieved it that time. Okay. This is another instance where I find the tweezers super helpful for me. Honestly, I don't know how I would craft without them. I like to open up the loop. I'm all thumbs. Can you tell? Take the tails, slide them through, put them out the other side, and then pull it. Because see, I want this to kind of look pretty and flat, and that's not easy to do, especially the wider the ribbon. But I like the wider ribbon for the look that it gives. So be careful as you tighten these up so that you don't rip through here, which is a good reason to use those little reinforcers there, because they give some strength there, so that you do that. Okay, now on the original I put dimensionals behind the tag that's got the designer series paper. That one has dimensionals, and then off to this side I had to put one so that we would even things out. So let me get my dimensionals. This side really coordinates good with this too, doesn't it? You could almost do a tag this color, and then instead of this you could do a tag with that one. You know, our designer series paper all kind of coordinates so well that in one pack you can find lots of ones that would go together to do a good job on your tag. Now let me put this back over here so you can see. Making sure that I'm opening at the bottom, I'm going to position the bottom one about the same. And don't worry about those long tails on the tag, or I mean on the ribbon. I'll trim those up once I get everything good, and I'll add that baker's twine. And then I'm going to kind of skew these aside just a tad. Not a lot. This one I skewed aside more than the others because I wanted this to show through, because who wants to hide those pretty pansies, you know? They're so lovely. So something like that. And then where this little bit is showing, I'm going to trim that off, so it's not peeking through there. No one will ever know I did that. And like I said, I need to add so that this one doesn't kind of sink down. I'm going to add that there. About there. And then for this one, because there we go. I'm going to go something like so. I intentionally wanted a little bit of the white to hang off, but I didn't want this screwed askew too much. I wanted it to kind of be straight across and just a bit up there. So there's that. Okay, now we can trim these ribbon ends a bit more. go. And, oh, heavens, you know what? I used the end of my black baker's twine. Let's see. Do I have some other baker's twine over here I can use? Good color. Give me just 1 second. What do I got here? Ooh. What do I think of that color? It's a little bit wider than I want. I think my baker's twine's out in the other room. This isn't going to show up good. 1 sec. White. Here we go. Found my pack. I knew I had another pack. I'm glad I could locate it. So we sell this baker's twine nowadays in a pack of 5. So you've got white, crumb cake, gray granite, berry vanilla, and then the black, which is what I'm using here. So let's get the black out and add just a bit. You can also color this baker's twine using your ink from a Stampin' Blend, or your ink from a re-inker, or from a ink pad. Many ways you can achieve it. So let's do this. And when I'm using ribbon or baker's twine or anything, I try to use it while it's still on the roll. And I know I'm a little bit off camera for you, but I'm just tying a knot there. That way I don't waste as much, versus like cutting a length of it off to use and then having waste. If you can use it while it's still on the roll, you just don't have that amount of waste. So there's that. And the last thing I did was I took a piece of basic white and I wanted to say hello friend, but I didn't want to use the big hello on here. This is pretty, but I'm going for this tag look, so oops, I've got a hair on there. So I used the hello from the Peach Sweet as a Peach stamps. There's a small hello here. Or if you have the Love of Leaves set, it has a nice little hello. We actually have several sets that have the word hello in it, so if you don't own one, I bet you have another. And so I stamped that already. This time, here I used the dark green. Here I've used the Calypso Coral, I believe. So I'm going to cut this off and tuck it under there. First I'm going to check. Yep, there we go. And so I'm going to put just a little bit of Tombow behind. The last thing I'll do after I add this is add some of the rhinestones, because it needs a little bit of bling, I think. There we go. Okay, and again, like last week, I used the champagne rhinestones. The reason being, I think that color just works so well with these. It's kind of like a gold in a way. Not precisely gold, but I don't know. I like this color with this color scheme. So I'm going to add some more of those. I always do things in 3s, and I try to shoot for kind of a triangular type of a shape. Let's see, 1, 2, and then over here maybe 3. There we go. And, oh, the last thing. I said the last thing when I talked about rhinestones, but I forgot. The last thing is when I cut this, I have, you know, little scraps, and don't get rid of your scraps. Go ahead and save them and use them. On the pansies, you want to look at which way your pansies go, because there's an up and a down to pansies. So, and did I trim this down? Let's see. Yep, I did. So I trimmed this to 5 1/4, and I think it's by a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4, and it'll fit in there. If I had made the card this direction instead of this direction, this way, you would want it to be 4 inches wide. by a 1/2 inch. So let me get my Tombow back. Where'd I put it? Right there. And you don't have to add the strip on the inside, but we always have lots of little pieces of designer series or pattern paper, so why not use them just to add a little in here? Or you could stamp on the inside. For example, on this card that I showed you that we're going to use for bingo, I did stamp on the inside and add that piece, but you could leave that piece off and just stamp if you wanted, just to carry a little bit of design to the inside, but not a ton. And this is Hello Friend, and if you wanted to put an inspirational stamp in here, for example, I thought of this one. If you have the Love of Leaves, we used this last year at one of my retreats. I love this one. Your friendship is something I know I can count on. I think that stamp in here would just be so perfect since it's a friendship card. So, or I'm so glad you're in my life. I thought of you today. I think those would go so nice in here. So if you have this from last year, dig this baby out. This is a perfect time to start using it. We're moving into fall, September 1st today, guys. So there we go. That's my card. I hope you like it. I don't know, do you like, which orientation do you like better? Do you like it going portrait style, or do you like it going landscape style? Oh, thank you guys. Oh, look at all the love you're giving me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. That's so sweet. I'm glad you like it. It just has a lot of happy happy patterns to it, I think. The pretty pansies patterns. This one was the peach, Sweet as a Peach designer series paper on that one. So I just saw my computer said waiting for live. I wonder if I'm coming in and out. If I am, I apologize. I don't know about the signal. Nancy says landscape. Yes, me too, Nancy. That's why when I first did the portrait, then I thought, oh, I don't know. I really like this one myself, but you know. There we go. Landscape for Kathy, Grayson. Looks like most of you like the landscape the best. Yeah, me too. So. And I think it's just fun. I think we tend to make cards in this orientation a lot anyway, so kind of nice to have one going this way. So, there. Anyway, if you, oh, yeah, Allison, you had that too? Video interrupted? I just glanced up and saw it while I was working away. I didn't notice it because I wasn't looking there. Are those tags going to be used? Yes, Amy. Yes, indeed. These tags are being used for the bingo. I'll give you a sneak peek of the Halloween card if I can find it, which uses the tags. And the Christmas one that we're going to make uses the tags. You know, it's a good thing you guys can't see my table because it is such a mess because I've been creating. I don't see it sitting here. Sorry. Oh, I know. I put it across the room because I had to move that stuff off once I got that card done. But yes, we're going to use the tags for the Halloween one and then for the Christmas one. And for the Thanksgiving one, we're using the Scallop Contours dies. And then, like I said, the 3D one, I'm not sure yet. I think we're going to do a 3D one. I just know that nobody wants to hang around with me all night at bingo, but I think it is fun to do a 3D one. So, and I'll try to incorporate the tags maybe into it. But I do like these tags a lot. I can see myself using these tags for scrapbooking so much. I mean, not just to like journal, but like for your title. These smaller ones, you could do a row of these smaller ones and, you know, put your letter on it to spell out your title. You know, like Summer, S-U-M-M-E-R. I don't know. I just think they'd be very, very helpful, very fun. So, next time I go to a crop, I will take them with me and try to use them. And I'm sure they'll show up in a lot of my projects because I do like them. So, Oh, and it is celebration. Today's first day of September. So celebration was August and September only. So we've got one more month of celebration. So if there's anything that you're thinking you're wanting, this is the best month to buy because every $50 order you get a free gift. Celebration goes away and then we're back to regular ordering, which is always a bummer. I like getting free stuff. I think we all like getting free stuff with our orders. So, keep that in mind. What else can I tell you? I gave you the updates. Thank you guys for watching. And as I said, if you like and share, I will give away one of these cards. And then from was it last Friday night I did that? Or Thursday night I did the Facebook Live? I need to find where I moved that card to. But anyway, I'll give that card away too. I'll do a drawing. So between the people that liked and shared this tonight's and the last one, then I'll do a drawing and you guys can win the cards if you want them. I mean, most of you make cards of your own, and so maybe you don't want to win cards. But the cool thing about winning a card is then it can be a sample that you can hang on to and use to copy, you know, other projects from. If you don't want to send a card that you didn't make, that I made. But if you want to send a card that I made, that's fine too. I think that's all I got to say tonight. I hope everyone's doing well. Oh, a lot of you know that I have a sister who lives in Louisiana, and I have a niece and her significant other. They live in Louisiana, but a few miles away from my sister. But, you know, obviously with that hurricane, I was concerned about them, but they are fine. So they're very happy, and we're very happy. A lot of times, you know, it's crazy. They don't have their electrical lines and things like that buried down there. And so when they get bad winds and storms, they lose electricity for a good long time. Last year during hurricane season, there were 3 different times they lost electricity, and they lost it for days. It was miserable, and it's awful for them when it happens. So they are so happy that this time around they have not lost their electricity, and it doesn't look like they will. So that's a good thing. I'm sure there will be more of those events that happen, and they will, but at least this time they were spared. And so that's good news. So if any of you have any friends, family, people that you know that live in Louisiana, I hope they're all right. That's a lot of devastation down there for sure. And I know, like, some of us know Chris Martin. She's a crafter and a lovely lady, and I know she's got family in Louisiana. And I know Grayson's got family down in Mississippi, I believe. I have family in Mississippi too, and they got hit pretty bad. So, I don't know. Anyway, I hope people are all safe and well. And maybe it's a good time to send a card, although I don't think some of those people will be getting mail for a while, and that's the least of their worries. So, take care, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. I will let you go. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. And if you missed the updates at the beginning about the upcoming events, maybe in the replay just go back and watch just the first few minutes of this so you see the dates of things that I have coming up. And maybe you can join us. So, take care, everyone. Be well. Reach out to me if I can do anything for you. And have a happy rest of the week. Thanks for joining me. Good night.